discussing GDP deflator. What is GDP deflator? GDP deflator is one of the ways of measuring the overall price level in an economy. Other ways of measuring the overall price level in an economy are the consumer price index and producer price index. So in other words, we use GDP deflator, consumer price index, and producer price index. Those are the three main ways of measuring the overall price level in an economy. The interest in this class is to show you how to compute GDP deflator. And how do we measure GDP deflator? So GDP deflator can be expressed as the nominal GDP divided by real GDP multiplied by 100. Nominal GDP divided by real GDP multiplied by 100. So let's take for instance an example. If the nominal GDP of a country in 2006 is, let's say for instance, 10,000 US dollars, and we have compute the GDP deflator for this year, for the year, given the real GDP of 8,000 in the same year. Okay, now in other words, there are two values we need here. We need the nominal GDP for 2006 and real GDP for 2006. So it must be the same year. If we are looking for GDP deflator in 2006, the value we are going to use will be the nominal GDP 2006 and real GDP 2006. If we are given values for more than a year. In other words, we have 2006 GDP. Here is the solution. Sorry. Deflator will be equal to, remember the formula, the nominal GDP. The nominal GDP in this year is equals to 10,000. Okay, while the real GDP is 8,000. Then the currency multiplied by 100. Okay, when you do that, so we have 10,000 divided by 8,000. So it gives you 1.25, then multiply by 100. 1.25 multiplied by 100, so you have 125. 125. So in other words, GDP deflator is 125. Okay, you don't put percentage there because you multiply by 100. Okay, so that 100 is just to scale it up. It does not indicate percentage. Okay, but the scaling unit is 100. Okay, so don't put percentage there. So say 125. This 125 is our GDP deflator for 2006. Don't forget to like the video, drop your comment, or share the video to benefit others from that.